There is an invisible audience following you through life. It enters the room before you speak. It watches when you choose your clothes, share an idea, set a boundary, begin a project, or decide to walk away from something that no longer respects you. It asks questions that sound reasonable but slowly become a prison. What will they think? What if they laugh? What if they misunderstand me? What if they decide I am selfish, foolish, unsuccessful, awkward, or not good enough? Because of this audience, you edit yourself before anyone else has the opportunity. You soften your honest opinion. You remain in relationships that exhaust you. You apologize for harmless choices. You delay work that matters because the first attempt may not be impressive. You say yes while your entire body wants to say no. Then you call this caution, politeness, or patience. But beneath it is often something simpler: fear of judgment. The desire to be accepted is human. We are social beings, and our lives depend on cooperation. Caring about reputation is not automatically weakness. A good person should care whether their actions are honest, fair, and harmful to others. Feedback can reveal blind spots. Accountability can improve character. The problem begins when consideration becomes dependence, when your peace requires approval, your decisions require permission, and your identity changes according to whoever is standing in front of you. Then you are no longer relating to people. You are auditioning for them. Stoicism offers a different standard. It does not tell you to become cold or arrogant. It does not say that every opinion is worthless. It asks you to examine what belongs to your responsibility and what does not. Your choices, effort, values, and conduct belong largely to you. Other people's interpretations, preferences, projections, and final opinions do not. You can communicate clearly, behave honorably, and listen carefully, but you cannot enter another person's mind and force them to understand you correctly. If your peace depends on achieving that impossible control, peace will always remain outside your reach. The day you stop living for every opinion is not the day you stop caring about people. It is the day you begin caring about something deeper than approval: character. You stop asking, "How do I look?" and begin asking, "Who am I becoming?" You stop asking, "Will everyone agree?" and begin asking, "Is this honest, wise, and necessary?" You stop trying to avoid every criticism and begin building a life that can withstand criticism. In this video, we will examine 8 Stoic shifts that free you from the fear of judgment. You will learn how to separate useful feedback from emotional noise, stop over-explaining, tolerate misunderstanding, make decisions according to values, and take action while people are still watching. The final lesson is the most important because it reveals what actually replaces the need for approval. You cannot remove one center of gravity without establishing another. So let us begin with the truth most people avoid. You are probably thinking about their opinions far more than they are thinking about you. 1. Realize that most people are busy thinking about them. The first step toward freedom is to recognize how little time most people spend examining your life. You walk into a room and become conscious of your clothes, posture, voice, and expression. You make a small mistake and imagine that everyone noticed. You say something awkward and replay it for 3 days. In your mind, the moment grows until it appears permanent. But the other people in that room are usually occupied by their own invisible audience. They are wondering how they look. They are remembering what they said. They are worrying about their performance, relationships, money, future, and insecurities. You are often a supporting character in a story where each person experiences themselves as the center. This does not mean nobody cares about you. It means their attention is limited, just like yours. Imagine giving a presentation and losing your place for 5 seconds. You feel exposed. That evening, you remember every detail: the silence, your hands, one person looking down. But the audience remembers the overall subject, the question they wanted to ask, or what they planned to eat after the meeting. The event that became a courtroom in your mind was a passing moment in theirs. The Stoics trained themselves to see events in proportion. A moment can feel enormous because it is close to you, not because it is objectively large. Perspective restores scale. Ask yourself, will this matter to these people in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year? Most social embarrassment dissolves quickly. Even when someone remembers, their memory cannot govern your character unless you keep carrying it for them. There is another truth. People do judge. Some will form opinions quickly, some will gossip, mock, compare, or misunderstand. Freedom does not come from pretending this never happens. Freedom comes from understanding that their judgment is an event in their mind, not a command in yours. An opinion may contain information, but it does not contain authority merely because it exists. Consider 2 strangers watching you begin exercising. One admires your commitment, the other thinks your technique looks awkward. The same action produces 2 opinions. If opinions define the action would somehow be admirable and embarrassing at the same time. The contradiction shows that the opinions belong partly to the observers, their preferences, experiences, mood, and character. Your task is not to collect a unanimous verdict. Your task is to act intelligently. Try this exercise. Think of an embarrassing moment from 5 years ago. Remember how important it felt. Now ask yourself how many embarrassing moments you remember from strangers during that same year. Probably very few. You were not the permanent center of their attention. You were the center of your own. Use this realization compassionately. Other people are carrying insecurities too. Their distracted expression may not be rejection. Their silence may not be criticism. Their short reply may have nothing to do with you. Do not invent an audience where none exists. The fear of judgment often asks you to predict thoughts you cannot access. You see a face, create a story, react to the story, and call it reality. Instead, return to what you know. What was actually said? What actually happened? What action does the situation require? When you stop treating imagined judgments as facts, the invisible audience becomes smaller. You recover energy that was being spent managing a performance no one requested. Most people are thinking about themselves. Let that truth release you rather than disappoint you. Point 2. Separate feedback from verdicts. The second shift is to stop treating every opinion as a verdict on your identity. Feedback says this action could improve. A verdict says this is what you are. When your self-worth depends heavily on approval, the difference disappears. Someone criticizes your work, and you hear that you are incompetent. Someone dislikes your decision, and you hear that you are selfish. Someone rejects your invitation, and you hear that you are unwanted. The event may be specific, but your mind turns it into a total judgment. Stoic thinking asks you to examine the content of an opinion before reacting to its emotional tone. Is there something true here? Is the speaker informed? Are they acting in good faith? Can this information improve a choice that belongs to my responsibility? If yes, use it. If no, release it. Imagine publishing your first video. One viewer comments that the introduction is too long. Another says the explanation is clear. A third mocks your voice. A fourth disagrees with the topic. If you absorb all 4 opinions as identity, you will become emotionally unstable. Praise will inflate you, criticism will crush you, and conflicting feedback will paralyze you. Instead, sort the information. The introduction is too long is testable. Check audience retention. Compare the opening with stronger videos. Perhaps shorten the next one. The explanation is clear, identifies a strength you may continue. I hate your voice contains little actionable information unless many viewers report an audio problem. I disagree may invite useful examination, but disagreement is not evidence of failure. Create 3 categories. First, qualified feedback. This comes from someone with relevant knowledge, honest intent, and enough context. Give it serious consideration. Second, relational feedback. This comes from people directly affected by your behavior. Even when their interpretation is imperfect, their experience matters because your actions exist within a relationship. Third, ambient opinion. This includes casual judgments, projections, anonymous hostility, gossip, and reactions from people who neither understand the situation nor share its consequences. Do not give ambient opinion the same weight as qualified or relational feedback. This is not arrogance. Arrogance rejects every correction to protect the ego. Discernment evaluates the source, content, and evidence. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that if someone could show him he was mistaken, he should change gladly because truth does not injure us. That attitude combines humility with stability. You do not need to fear correction when your identity is not built on always appearing correct. Try this 4-question filter. Is it specific? Is it supported by evidence? Is the speaker qualified or directly affected? Can I turn it into a useful action? If the answer is no to all 4, you may be dealing with noise rather than guidance. You can respond, "Thank you, I'll consider that." Without promising agreement, you can also say, "What specific change would you recommend?" Genuine feedback usually becomes clearer. Empty criticism often collapses when asked to become precise. Your goal is not to become immune to information. It is to become immune to surrendering your identity every time information arrives. Take the lesson without accepting the label. Improve the action without condemning the self. A wise person can be corrected without being controlled. 3. Stop explaining every choice. Third shift is to stop turning every personal decision into a courtroom defense. Over-explaining often appears polite. You want people to understand that you are not irresponsible, rude, selfish, or careless. So when you decline an invitation, change a career, end a relationship, protect your time, or choose a different path, you construct an argument. You provide history, evidence, emotional context, and anticipated counter-arguments. You keep speaking until the other person approves. But the more you explain, the more you may communicate that your decision is open for negotiation. There is an important difference between communicating and applying for permission. If your choice affects someone directly, you owe them honesty and reasonable consideration. A parent should not disappear from responsibilities and call it a boundary. A business partner should not make a major decision alone and then refuse explanation. Stoicism is not a philosophy of avoiding accountability, but many choices are yours to make. You may leave an event early. You may refuse to discuss a private subject. You may choose not to drink. You may change what you study. You may decide that a friendship no longer deserves the same access. A clear sentence is often enough. I won't be able to attend. I've decided to take a different direction. I'm not comfortable discussing that. That arrangement no longer works for me. Notice the discomfort that appears after the sentence. Silence creates pressure. You imagine the other person forming a negative opinion, so you rush to fill the space. That is the exact moment to practice. Let the sentence stand. Someone may ask a respectful question. You can answer if you choose, but you do not have to provide a legal brief to make an ordinary boundary valid. Over-explaining also creates another danger. It gives disrespectful people more material to debate. Every reason becomes a target. You say you are tired. They tell you everyone is tired. You say you need time. They argue that you have enough time. You say it affects your mental health. They accuse you of being dramatic. Soon you are no longer describing your decision. You are trying to convince someone committed to rejecting it. Use the broken record method. Choose one calm sentence and repeat its meaning without adding new defenses. I understand you are disappointed, but I won't be attending. I hear your concern. My decision remains the same. We see it differently. I'm not discussing this further. This is not coldness. It is conservation of attention. The Stoic question is not, can I make everyone approve of this? It is this decision consistent with reason, responsibility, and my values? If it is not, correct it. If it is, accept that clarity may still disappoint someone. People who are accustomed to unrestricted access may interpret a new boundary as rejection. People who benefited from your constant agreement may call your independence selfish. Their discomfort does not automatically prove your wrongdoing. Before explaining, ask, does this person need the information to make a responsible decision? Have they shown that they listen in good faith? Am I clarifying or begging for approval? A concise explanation can be respectful. Endless explanation is often fear wearing the clothes of communication. Say what is true, say what is necessary, then allow the silence to exist. 4. Learn to survive being misunderstood. The fourth shift may be the hardest. Accept that some people will misunderstand you. Even when you communicate well, you can choose your words carefully and still be misread. You can act with good intentions and still disappoint someone. You can establish a reasonable boundary and still be called selfish. You can remain calm and still be called arrogant. You can change your life and still be judged by the person you used to be. The need to correct every misunderstanding creates endless emotional labor. You monitor conversations, revisit messages, and imagine what people might be saying. You send another explanation, then another, hoping to control the final version of you that exists in their mind. But you cannot manage every version. Each person sees you through a lens shaped by their history, fears, incentives, and limited information. You influence that picture through your conduct and communication, but you do not own the lens. This does not mean truth is irrelevant. Correct important falsehoods when they create real harm. Protect your reputation when work, safety, or legal responsibilities require it. Clarify misunderstandings in relationships that matter. But distinguish meaningful correction from compulsive image management. Suppose you leave a social group because the environment repeatedly violates your values. You explain your decision privately and respectfully. One person understands. Another claims you think you are better than everyone. A third creates a story about hidden motives. You have options. You can spend months defending yourself to each observer, or you can allow consistent conduct to become your long-term explanation. The first option offers the illusion of immediate control. The second builds credibility slowly. Ask yourself, have I communicated what is necessary to the people who are genuinely involved? If yes, the remaining discomfort may not be a communication problem. It may be the price of being unable to control perception. Pay that price. Being misunderstood is uncomfortable, not fatal. Your nervous system may treat social disapproval as danger, but you can train it through small exposures. Wear something you like without asking 3 people for reassurance. Share a thoughtful opinion without monitoring every reaction. Say no without composing a paragraph. Let a harmless, awkward moment end without apologizing repeatedly. Each action teaches your mind, I can survive another person's uncertainty about me. There is also humility in this practice. Sometimes the person misunderstanding you may hold a piece of truth. Listen once. Examine your conduct. If correction is needed, make it. But do not confuse willingness to reflect with an obligation to accept every interpretation. You are not required to make yourself smaller so that someone else's story remains comfortable. The Stoics placed great emphasis on acting according to reason and virtue, not chasing reputation. Reputation is external because it lives in other minds. Character is internal because it is expressed through your chosen conduct. A reputation can be damaged by rumor. Character is damaged by your own dishonest action. Protect the distinction. Let people revise their opinions at their own pace, or never. Your task is to keep your conduct clear enough that you do not need to chase every misunderstanding with panic. Sometimes peace begins when you accept that you will be the villain in a story written by someone who benefited from your lack of boundaries. Point 5. Pre-approval. With values, the fifth shift is crucial because you cannot simply stop caring. The mind requires a standard. If you remove other people's approval without replacing it, you may drift into confusion or rebellion. You begin making choices merely to prove that nobody controls you, but acting against every opinion is still being controlled by opinion. You are simply moving in the opposite direction. Freedom is not automatic opposition. Freedom is deliberate alignment. You need values strong enough to organize your decisions when applause disappears. Choose 4 or 5 qualities you want your conduct to express. They might include honesty, courage, justice, discipline, compassion, patience, or responsibility. Then turn those abstract words into observable behavior. If you value honesty, what will you do when a convenient lie could protect your image? If you value courage, what conversation will you stop postponing? If you value discipline, what action will you perform when nobody is watching? If you value justice, whose perspective must you consider besides your own? If you value compassion, how will you remain firm without becoming cruel? Values become useful only when they cost something. It is easy to value honesty when the truth earns praise. The test comes when honesty risks disapproval. It is easy to value boundaries when everyone respects them. The test comes when someone becomes angry. It is easy to value courage when success appears guaranteed. The test comes when failure may be visible. Imagine choosing between a prestigious career expected by your family and a different path that genuinely fits your abilities and responsibilities. Approval offers one map. Impulse offers another. Values ask better questions. Can I support myself responsibly? Am I choosing from thoughtful conviction or temporary frustration? What sacrifices am I willing to make? Does this path allow me to act with integrity? Who is directly affected? And what do I owe them? Values do not always produce easy answers, but they produce better reasons. Create a private scorecard at the end of each day. Do not ask, did everyone like me? Ask, was I honest? Did I act with courage where courage was required? Did I fulfill my responsibilities? Did I treat people fairly? Did I use my attention wisely? This scorecard changes your center of gravity. Praise becomes pleasant but not necessary. Criticism becomes information but not identity. You evaluate the day through conduct rather than popularity. Be careful, your private scorecard must not become self-flattery. People can use my values to justify selfishness. That is why Stoicism includes justice and reason, not only personal strength. Your values should survive honest examination and include your obligations to other people. The goal is not, I do whatever I want. The goal is, I choose what I can responsibly defend. When approval is the standard, your personality changes with the room. When values are the standard, your behavior becomes more consistent. You may still adapt your communication, but you no longer sell your principles for acceptance. The day you stop asking the crowd who you should be is the day you must answer the harder question yourself. Choose your standard carefully, then practice it when no one applauds. Point 6. Take action before confidence. Aravist's sixth shift is to stop waiting until you feel immune to judgment before taking action. Many people imagine that confident individuals no longer experience embarrassment, fear, or self-doubt, so they wait for an internal transformation. They will publish when they feel fearless, speak when they feel certain, set a boundary when they no longer feel guilty, begin exercising when they are no longer self-conscious. That day rarely arrives first. Confidence is often evidence collected through action. You do something while afraid, survive the discomfort, learn, and become slightly more capable. The mind then updates its prediction. If you wait for confidence before action, you reverse the process. Stoic practice is behavioral. Philosophy becomes real through choices under pressure. You do not become courageous by reading about courage alone. You become courageous by selecting a reasonable action while fear is present. Start with a judgment ladder. At the bottom, choose a small action that creates mild discomfort. Ask a question in a meeting. Wear something without seeking reassurance. Share a simple opinion. or post a piece of work without showing 5 friends first. Repeat until the discomfort becomes manageable, then move one step higher. Offer an idea that may be rejected, attend an event alone, publish a longer project, say no to an unreasonable request, or have an honest conversation. Do not jump immediately to the most frightening situation if a gradual approach will build sustainable skill. Discipline is not recklessness. After each action, write 3 observations. What did I predict would happen? What actually happened? What did I learn about my ability to cope? Suppose you predict that sharing a video will produce widespread ridicule. You publish it. A few people watch. One leaves a supportive comment. Another disagrees. Most people continue with their day. The catastrophic prediction does not occur, or perhaps criticism does occur. You feel discomfort, respond thoughtfully or ignore it, and continue working. You learn something even more valuable. Freedom does not require criticism to disappear. It requires evidence that you can survive it. Avoid using perfection as armor. Perfectionism often claims to protect quality, but it can protect you from exposure. If the work is never finished, it can never be judged. You preserve the fantasy of potential at the cost of actual growth. Set a definition of done before you begin. For a video, that may mean clear audio, a useful structure, accurate information, and a readable thumbnail. It does not mean a guarantee that everyone will approve. For a conversation, it may mean honest, respectful communication. It does not mean controlling the other person's reaction. For a new skill, it may mean completing a beginner-level attempt. It does not mean looking like an expert. Action gives reality the opportunity to correct imagination. Every time you act according to values while fear is present, you reduce the distance between the life you perform and the life you actually want. Do not wait to stop caring before you begin. Begin, and your dependence on opinion will weaken through experience. Confidence is not the absence of an audience. It is the ability to act while the audience may be watching. Point 7. Stop measuring your life through comparison. The 7th shift is to stop using other people's visible lives as evidence against your own. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to become dependent on opinion because it turns existence into a public ranking. Someone earns more, so you feel behind. Someone receives attention, so you feel invisible. Someone appears confident, attractive, disciplined, or successful, so your own progress becomes insufficient. Soon you are no longer asking whether your life reflects your values. You are asking whether it looks impressive beside theirs. This comparison is usually unfair. You compare your internal uncertainty with their external presentation. You see the result, but not the advantages, sacrifices, failures, timing, or responsibilities surrounding it. Even when the comparison is accurate, it may still be irrelevant. 2 people can have different starting points, aims, and obligations. A race is meaningful only when the participants are running toward the same finish line under similar conditions. Stoic thought repeatedly invites us to return to our own role and work. Your responsibility is not to possess another person's circumstances. It is to use your present circumstances with wisdom and effort. Ranking with reference. Ranking asks, am I better than them? Reference asks, what can their example teach me? If someone is more disciplined, study the system. If someone communicates well, observe the skill. If someone has achieved a result you value, investigate the process. Convert envy into information, then return to your lane. Create metrics based on controllable behavior. Do not measure only views. Measure whether you published according to schedule. Do not measure only weight. Measure workouts, sleep, and nutrition choices. Do not measure only income. Measure valuable work completed, skills developed, and responsible decisions made. Outcomes matter, but they contain variables beyond immediate control. Process metrics keep your attention connected to action. Social media intensifies comparison because it gives you an endless collection of other people's strongest moments. If a platform repeatedly leaves you anxious, resentful, or performative, change your use deliberately. Remove accounts that trigger empty comparison. Set specific times for consumption. Create before you consume. Do not begin the morning by inviting thousands of strangers to define what deserves your attention. Also notice status decisions. Buying something primarily to signal success, accepting work mainly for a title, remaining in a relationship because leaving may look like failure, or hiding a beginner stage because it lacks prestige. Ask, would I still want this if nobody could see it? The answer can expose how much of the desire belongs to you and how much belongs to the audience. This does not mean visible achievement is wrong. Recognition, wealth, beauty, and status can be used well. Stoicism asks whether they are governing you. Can you pursue an outcome without making your worth depend on it? Can you enjoy praise without needing another dose tomorrow? Your comparison target should be your previous conduct under similar conditions. Am I more honest than I was? More disciplined? More capable of tolerating discomfort? More willing to correct mistakes? More useful to the people and responsibilities entrusted to me? That comparison creates direction without turning another person into an enemy. Their success is not proof of your failure. Their attention is not stolen from your identity. Their timeline is not a deadline imposed on your life. Return to your work. Let comparison become instruction, then release it. Point 8. Build a life you can respect in private. The eighth and final shift is to build a life you can respect when nobody is watching. This is what replaces the need for approval. If you remove the crowd but have no private standard, loneliness appears. If you remove praise but do not trust your own conduct, silence feels empty. The goal is not simply to stop caring what people think. The goal is to become someone whose private behavior provides a stable foundation. Self-respect is not a motivational sentence. It is memory. You remember whether you keep promises to yourself. You remember whether you work when excuses are available. You remember how you speak about people who are absent. You remember whether your public principles survive private temptation. Every action becomes evidence in your relationship with yourself. This is why external confidence without private integrity feels fragile. A person may appear powerful but remain terrified of exposure because their image and conduct are separated. They need constant approval to cover the gap, close the gap. Choose one private discipline. Wake when you said you would wake. Complete the work before announcing it. Exercise without posting it. Keep a confidence nobody will reward you for keeping. Rest turn something that does not belong to you when you could easily keep it. Apologize without turning the apology into a performance. These actions create an internal witness you can trust. The Stoics used evening reflection to examine conduct. At the end of the day, ask, where did I act according to my values? Where did fear of judgment control me? Where did I reject useful feedback because of pride? What will I practice differently tomorrow? Do not use reflection as punishment. Use it as training. The purpose is not to produce shame but accuracy. Your private standard should also include compassion. You will still care what people think sometimes. You will still feel embarrassed, defensive, or eager to impress. Freedom is not achieved through one dramatic decision. It is built through repeated returns. When you catch yourself performing, return to the task. When criticism hurts, examine it and return to your values. When you overexplain, stop and let the next sentence be shorter. When comparison appears, convert it into instruction and return to your lane. This repeated return is self-command. Eventually something changes. You speak more simply. You decide more carefully. You recover more quickly from awkward moments. You listen to criticism without collapsing and receive praise without becoming addicted. People may call this confidence, but confidence is only the visible result. The deeper structure is alignment. Your actions, values, and identity are no longer arguing with one another. Then the opinions of others find their proper place. The wise and honest opinion becomes guidance. The experience of people affected by you becomes responsibility. Praise becomes encouragement. Casual judgment becomes weather. Hostility becomes information about the speaker or a situation requiring boundaries. None of it becomes your master. Build a life you can respect in private, and you will no longer need every public room to confirm that you exist. Conclusions. What changes when you stop living for all the day? You stop caring what everyone thinks. Everything changes, but perhaps not in the way you expect. The world does not suddenly approve of you. Criticism does not disappear. People do not stop misunderstanding your choices. You do not become fearless overnight. What changes is the location of authority. You stop placing it in every face, comment, reaction, and rumor. You bring it back to the part of life that belongs to your responsibility. Your judgment, values, conduct, effort, and response. Remember the 8 shifts. First, recognize that most people are busy thinking about themselves. Do not build a permanent courtroom from a temporary glance. Second, separate feedback from verdicts. Use specific, informed guidance without turning it into an identity. Third, stop explaining every choice. Communicate what is necessary, fulfill your responsibilities, and let a clear decision stand. Fourth, learn to survive being misunderstood. Clarify what matters, then release the impossible task of controlling every version of you in every mind. Fifth, replace approval with values. Freedom requires a standard deeper than praise and more responsible than impulse. Sixth, take action before confidence arrives. Let experience teach your nervous system that visible imperfection is survivable. Seventh, stop measuring your life through comparison. Learn from other people, then return to your own role and process. Eighth, build a life you can respect in private. Private integrity becomes the foundation that public approval can never provide. Here is your practice for the next 7 days. Each day, perform one small action without seeking reassurance. Make a reasonable choice, complete it, and resist the urge to ask whether everyone approves. Then write 2 sentences. The opinion I was afraid of was, the value I chose instead was. At the end of the week, read the page. You will see that freedom is not one feeling, it is a collection of decisions. Do not misunderstand the message. Continue caring about truth. Care about how your actions affect people. Care about keeping your word, correcting mistakes, and treating others justly, but stop confusing care with captivity. You can love people without handing them ownership of your identity. You can listen without obeying every opinion. You can apologize without declaring yourself worthless. You can disappoint someone and still be acting responsibly. You can be misunderstood and remain honest. You can be afraid and still move. The crowd may approve today and criticize tomorrow. If their reaction becomes your foundation, your peace must change whenever they do. Build on something steadier. When the next judgment arrives, pause and ask, is there truth here that can improve my conduct? If yes, accept the lesson. If not, let the opinion continue its journey without building a home inside you. Your life is too brief to spend as a performance for an audience that is also afraid of being judged. Step off the stage, return to your values, do the work, let your character become louder than your need to be understood. If you are ready to stop living for approval, write this in the comments. I choose values over validation. And subscribe for more practical Stoic lessons about emotional control, discipline, self-respect, and inner freedom. Until next time, listen carefully to wise counsel, but never surrender your life to the noise of the crowd.